Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Neffinger, we're all, I guess, kind of creatures of our own personal experience, but I'll tell you, having most of us travel on a regular basis, in the airports that I use, which are primarily Greenville, Spartanburg, and South Carolina, Charlotte, and DCA, I have never had anything other than professional encounters with TSA folks, ever. There's not a single instance where I can think of where it wasn't A+ in terms of professionalism. So, you know, we're only creatures of our own, and I don't wear a member pin. So don't anybody think it's because they figured out what I do for a living. They didn't, and I don't, thank the Lord, look like most of my colleagues. So I don't think that it was for that reason. I think it's tough being in law enforcement, period. I think, quite frankly, without digressing into a broader conversation about that, I think it's become even tougher in the last couple of years to be in law enforcement. So what I want you to tell me is, where are your applicants coming from? What is the source of the poor morale, other than that you only make the news when something goes wrong? If there's a TSA agent who is involved in stealing, or if there's a TSA agent that does something wrong, that's when you make the news. But you don't ever make the news for just simple professionalism. So what's the source of the morale issues? Where do you draw your applicants from? And what is your plan on bolstering morale?
Well, thanks for your question, Mr. Gowdy, and thank you for your good words about our workforce. I will echo the fact that I think the majority of the TSA workforce, particularly the screening workforce, are truly dedicated, responsible, and patriotic Americans. These are people who, as somebody's already mentioned, have took an oath to do a job that many people in this country would not want to do, and very few people would choose to do. That said, so what's the source of morale? Again, my experience, it's a well-defined mission statement and a clear mission of importance. I think we have a clear mission of importance. I don't know that we've always clearly defined that to our workforce. So it's reconnecting the workforce to the desire that they had in the first place to join, to become part of something that's important, that means something, and that means something to our nation. That's first and foremost. That's what the military is all about, and that's what my experience there tells me. Then it's having clear and unequivocal standards of performance. And what I mean by that is, what causes high morale is if people know that they're held to a high standard of performance, and that people who don't meet those standards aren't going to be part of your workforce anymore. So I think you have to be consistent across the organization. Then you have to train them appropriately. You have to actually train them in not just how to do their job, but how to engage the system, how the system works. I think we need to do some work on that score. One of the things that we discovered in the course of the root cause analysis after the covert testing failures was that we actually had not explained to the majority of the frontline workforce what the technology capabilities were. So what can the machines do? What can't they do? No one ever did that to me when I was in the military. They never handed me a piece of equipment and said, just go figure out how it works. So when you connect them to their system, and we never asked their opinion on what they thought of the challenges of working that checkpoint. You need feedback from your frontline workforce. This isn't just a one-way transmission. You've got to engage them. So I think the components of morale are important, clear and important mission, support for that mission, training to accomplish a mission, understanding of the equipment that we give you to do that, and then engaging you and getting some feedback from you and letting you be part of the solution that goes forward. There's nobody who knows that mission better than the people who are conducting it every day. So those are the things that we're putting into place. It takes some time to see the results of that, but I see lots of opportunity on those points to really re-engage the workforce in a much more effective way, and to actually activate, as I said, that which brought them to the job in the first place. With respect to recruiting, we currently use a third-party contractor to help screen recruits, but we recruit from all over the country, and we recruit from all walks of life. The astonishing thing is the talent that exists within the workforce. I have people with PhDs who are frontline screeners who've retired and come back into the workforce. I have people with music degrees. I have people from all walks of life. So there's as you might expect in a workforce of 44,000 screeners, you have a broad range of people at all ages.
One last question, because my time's almost up. If we were to interview 100 folks who had left not for cause, but just left, what would be the dominant reason they cited for why either their expectations weren't met, or they lost interest? Why do folks leave?
Well, I'll give you some thoughts I have, because I haven't done those interviews myself. I think it's probably a combination of factors. You always have some people who just decide that it's not the job for them and they move on. But let's address some of those concerns that you have with morale. I think it's not feeling like you're doing the mission that you thought you were going to be hired to do. So I think if I'm a screener and I think it's about effectiveness and screening properly, and I'm being told to move people through the line more effectively, that's probably going to cause me to say, I'm not sure that this organization cares about the things that they said they did. Did I get the proper training? Do I feel like I'm being supported? Do I feel like I have advancement opportunities? And do I get continuous development over the course of my career? I think all of those are the things that go